Hello, Ignite Sydney. Yes, if you've been following the Hi or Hey ASIO or the Hong Kong protests, then you know where I'm headed with this presentation. And given how much fun and levity there's been in some of the others, I sort of feel a bit guilty that I'm taking the mood down a bit. But about 30 years ago, give or take, the internet started with us, and for about a generation it's been with us, and the promise of this technology held out so much. Perhaps most of all, to summarise really quickly in 15 seconds, it's transformed us from consumers of content to creators of content and created a generation of citizen publishers. You don't just have to absorb anymore, we're all creators of content, and that's a massive threat. It's a massive threat for ideas, it's a massive threat for where capital lives, it's a massive threat for cultures and language and the nexus of control. And it's probably no surprise, in fact in a way it's a bit of a surprise it took 30 years for these states and corporations to jump in and realise this was something that they needed to control. So out of 195 nation states, and we've only got time to talk about states, not corporations, censorship's pervasive. And that's confusing to us. When 10,000 people were surveyed, 86% said that freedom of expression should be a right. But 71% supported censorship. And 74% then said, but yeah, censorship will limit our freedoms. So we really don't know what we want. China, the poster child for censorship, proper name Golden Shield, common name the Great Firewall of China, being used right now, unfortunately, to stop the Hong Kong protest content from getting into mainland China. US, of course, where all the data lives. I mean, these guys have all the data, they can monitor all the data. They were going to introduce Stopper and Pipper, and it wasn't until the silent majority got on board that from January the 18th to the 19th, the people against those draconian legislations won over. In the UK, you can't even go and look at runners who want to draw pictures of penis using GPS technology without putting your credit card details in, as Scott Rohde, one of our Sydney-siders, found out while he was over there. And right now today, our politicians are implementing another lot of technology to water down our rights. Our freedom of speech, presumption of innocence, electoral transparency, separation of powers, journalistic protection. Really, would we trust these guys? We all complain about the things they've let us down on, and yet as a society we've just let them put a bunch of legislation in front of us that's going to make it much harder to protect the freedoms that we have on the internet. So given this is a technical forum, this is not particularly technical but a little bit more technical in the first half of the presentation. How do you control the flow of information? You can block it, and that's what we're going to look at when the Facebook slide comes up. Many of you have probably seen this. This was a map of network connections on Facebook drawn in 2010 by an intern engineer. China, Russia, parts of the Middle East and Africa are effectively not on the world map. They're just blocked. Of course, you can modify content. This is just a mini example of what our PUP Senator Lambie did with an illustration of a freedom fighter in a burqa turning them into a poster of somebody that was meant to ban the burqa. In our own backyard, we're trying to introduce filtering. Conroy's been trying to do it for years, and now the Liberals are picking up on the cudgel. Initially saying, yes, we'll protect the 1,000 that Interpol are trying to protect and kiddie porn and all that sort of stuff, but really extensible to 50,000 sites. Or you can just flood the internet with junk. Bieber, cats, videos, any typical denial of service attack. North Korea did it to South Korea, just flood it full of garbage and then you won't find the actual real serious stuff. Or do the Radian 6 or other monitoring on a bigger scale, or pick up on Karcher's ambient technology en masse and use that to monitor and then secretly prosecute your populace. And that's what Australia are effectively doing. This slide predates what's going through legislation right now. Section 34D of the ASIO Act already allows ASIO to detain you for 7 days without reason and prohibits you from telling anybody about it, making us the most secretive Western democracy. And it's spreading to the internet. So is this the spring for the future of the internet and supported technologies, or I would have liked a picture from Game of Thrones, but copyright's a bitch, is winter coming. So this is a call to action. Ignite Sydney. The world's being ignited at the moment. 80,000 protesters in Hong Kong. We have freedom, we have democracy. It's easy to just sit back, but we need to do something about it. So as people who depend on online for their livelihood, get behind it. There's a bunch of hashtags, there's a bunch of sites on that slide when you have a look. Thanks for listening.